U.S. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell speaks to reporters as he departs the Senate floor, in the U.S. Capitol, in Washington, on Jan. 3, 2020. Jonathan Ernst, Reuters The U.S. Senate remained at a stalemate on Friday over how to proceed with the impeachment trial of President Donald Trump, as the chamber's leaders continued a dispute over whether top White House aides will be called as witnesses. After a two-week holiday recess, there was still no clarity about when Mr. Trump's impeachment trial might begin. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, a Republican, said the trial could not begin without the articles of impeachment, which House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has not yet sent to the Senate. Story continues below. Advertisement. The Democratic-controlled House of Representatives voted in December to impeach Trump for pressuring Ukraine to investigate former Vice President Joe Biden, a potential rival in the 2020 presidential election. A trial would be held in the Senate, and Mr. Trump is expected to be acquitted by the Republican-controlled chamber. But Mr. McConnell and Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer have been at loggerheads since late last year over how it should be conducted. Mr. McConnell said on Friday the Senate should go ahead and start the trial and resolve the dispute over witnesses mid-trial, a repetition of his earlier stance. He said this would follow the precedent set in former President Bill Clinton's impeachment trial 2 decades ago. Mr. Clinton, a Democrat, was acquitted by the Senate. Just like 20 years ago. Mr. McConnell said, "We should address mid-trial questions such as witnesses after briefs, opening arguments, senator questions and other relevant motions." Mr. Schumer, speaking after Mr. McConnell, repeated his call for a commitment to include witnesses before proceedings begin. He said there had never been an impeachment trial in which the Senate was denied the ability to hear from witnesses. "It may feel like we are no closer to establishing the rules for a Senate trial than when we last met, but the vital question of whether or not we have a fair trial, ultimately rests with a majority of the senators in this chamber," Mr. Schumer said. Republicans have a 53-seat majority in the Senate, where 51 votes are needed to pass a set of rules for the Trump trial. Story continues below. Advertisement. At least 2 Republican senators, Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins, expressed concerns over the holiday break about Mr. McConnell's approach to the trial after he said he was acting in total coordination with the White House and would not be an impartial juror. The actual impeachment trial in the Senate would need a 2/3 majority vote for a conviction, requiring more than 20 Republicans to break with their party to remove the president. Mr. Schumer said Trump administration correspondence released this week bolstered Democrats' case that Trump withheld military aid from Ukraine in an effort to pressure Kiev to investigate the Bidens. He has asked for testimony from Mick Mulvaney, the acting White House chief of staff, along with former National Security Advisor John Bolton and 2 other White House aides. The 2 Senate leaders spoke after a U.S. airstrike in Baghdad killed Qasem Soleimani, commander of Iran's elite Quds force and architect of its growing military influence in the Middle East. The attack was authorized by Trump, and Iran has promised harsh revenge. Mr. Clinton ordered 4 days of bombing on Iraq in 1998 as he was facing an impeachment vote in the House. The airstrikes delayed the vote but did not prevent it. Story continues below. Advertisement. Our morning update and evening update newsletters are written by Globe editors, giving you a concise summary of the day's most important headlines. Sign up today. Let's block ads. Why?